My story starts with a war, actually a war-torn country known as Laos. I wasn't born there, but my parents are from there. And the Vietnam War caused some really huge changes in their lives. They were about 22, 23 years old, young lovers, just married. Probably one of the first Asian American Laotian families to hit America. So it was 1976, at least from Laos. They were really, honestly, young dreamers. I asked my mom and dad multiple times, like, what were you thinking? Because that must have been so traumatizing. And they all said, well, we can't go back home. So refugees, but also feeling a sense of hope because they were young and it was new but scared, just like a lot of people coming to America, right? So fast forward to really struggling through what he being my dad and my mom needed to do, and that was to eat and to have shelter. Luckily, we had lots of support, lots of opportunities to thrive, and so my dad was a mechanic here. You know, he had the skill and it translated well, but he also knew that he needed an additional skill, or he felt like he needed an additional skill. So he enrolled in a group of Laotian men enrolled through services at a place called TSTI, which is the Texas State Institute Community College, essentially, there in Amarillo, Texas. And so he got his welding certificate. So he was able to work. My mom also got a job at Levi Strauss. It was a huge plant there in Amarillo. So they were super young, both working, had a child. The child passed, so lots of struggles, lots of life happening. He was able to open his own shop, his auto shop, and it was called Lao Garage. It was the best thing. I can tell by the pictures. The community just, I don't know, followed, and I mean, was so proud of this man, you know, where they came from. He started a business, and I can proudly say that that was the first Laotian business in Amarillo in terms of family business owned. He was so happy, and I just see the light, like it was golden. That was one dream come true. But then, you know, we just talked and felt like we needed more. And so my dad moved us in a trailer in the back of the shop. And I just remember how interesting it was to have like aunts and uncles living in small spaces. And we always updated our house somehow. We always had something to do. Like we tore down walls, built rooms, and it was kind of the normal life for my brother and I to work all the time. As we got older, we had more family members come through, and so my parents were able to work longer hours. So Dad worked at the oil fields as a welder at night, and he still worked his business during the day, while my mom worked, you know, the 18-hour shifts. So my grandparents really watched us, took care of us, made sure we were at school. And so my dad's rule was, if you want to have leisure time, then it's either at school or it's at church, those two things. So we would do those two things. And I felt like I got really smart really fast, because it was like, I'm going to do everything at school, because I didn't want to do chores or run errands in terms of parts at the shop. And so I signed up for cheerleading, and I signed up for student government, and played in the band, and played basketball. So I felt really blessed. So first generation, we don't really know what's out there, right? Like we really don't understand how things work. And so I was at a crossroad because my honestly, my parents wanted me to go to this university, big university in Texas. And I thought, I can't go because, first of all, we don't have any money. And number two, I mean, there's loans and resources, but I thought, well, there's a school right next to me. Why don't I go there? And they might pay for, I mean, very practical, they might pay for my school. So I heard it through the grapevine that they might pay for my tuition. So I started applying for jobs. I literally knocked on people's offices, like, do you have a job I can work at? Or, do you need a student worker? All of those things. I kind of just went through, asked for jobs, and found out, like, it's almost like life. It's practice and the things that you need. So you become a practitioner, and then you tend to relate to what you really need and what others need. So in education, it was a lifeline, essentially. So literally a lifeline. So I worked to help pay bills, and I also understood what these first gen, these immigrants, these refugees needed. And so it was more service related. Honestly, I could do the work in school. I think many of us can, but it's the interaction and the love or support or the understanding of what's out there that you don't know. So you don't know what you don't know. So being at that community college or that college outreach or this idea of an educational system that just makes people better was exactly the turning point. And I think it was, if you say coincidental, I would say it's faith that just leads you to where you need to be at that moment in time.